A world city needs to be seen and felt from the inside out. As any visitor can attest to, it is essential for their stay in the city to start and end in comfort. So Des checks out one of the latest revamps in Hong Kong. Our True Value episode is also diving into the world of feng shui to learn about this Chinese traditional craft of fortune. Veronica chats with a young master who shares his knowledge about feng shui at home. Welcome, this is DV. Modern-day Hong Kong still harbors many traditions that give people hope, luck and fortune. None more popular than the ancient art of feng shui. We head to a home tucked away in the hills of Happy Valley, where Veronica is going to speak with one of the city's most sought-after practitioners of the craft.
Feng shui, literally meaning the harmony between wind and water energy, has been prevalent in Chinese culture for over centuries, and it's been brought to the West as well. That important time of the year, you know, Chinese New Year. My family and I will go out, go see the parade, celebrate, and buy those cute lucky charms for good health, good fortune, and prosperity. I know it works. I'm sure you know it works as well. So today I'm going to meet with a friend, and we're going to dive into the complex world of feng shui. Hello, Master Chen.
Hi, Veronica.
Knowing you and your expertise, can you tell us what is feng shui and what are the basic principles?
Okay, feng shui dates back to around maybe 3,000 to 5,000 years ago. It's an ancient practice. A lot of Chinese believe that everything is bound to 5 elements. So it's about the placement and arrangement of certain objects. So let's say a certain sector needs fire for the auspicious power, okay? So the placement of red, orange, purple stuff at the correct place, it's gonna promote the auspicious power, okay?
So you say that there's different elements. It's the fire.
Water, metal, earth, and wood.
But the word itself, feng shui, is water and wind.
Yeah, exactly. In Chinese, feng means wind, airflow, okay? And airflow also means qi. You ever heard of Tai Chi?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. That's the qi around your body, right? And there's actually qi flowing around everywhere we go, especially in apartments and each house. And so, as a feng shui master, we take our compass, okay?
Oh, this is one of your tools.
Yeah,
I always
Chinese
see
compass.
you guys travel with this. It's a must-have.
Yeah, it's a must-have for any feng shui practitioner.
So how does it work?
There are 2 main parts of feng shui, okay? The first part would be calculating the qi, the airflow. You see, air is transparent. You cannot see the air flowing, right?
Yes.
Let's say this is your bed. Imagine this shop, okay?
Oh, if it's pointing towards my bed, it's not
If it's pointing towards
good.
you, the qi, the airflow would be going this way. So like this, and then will be pointing towards you.
Yes.
So it's gonna disrupt someone who's
Sleeping
here, okay? And for another example, let's say my finger. Let's say if I put my finger right here for like, let's say 10 minutes, you're gonna start
it's
feeling
getting warm.
You're gonna feel a little bit irritating, itchy. So that's the same idea of placing the right objects at the right place. So placing the right objects and calculating the airflow, these 2 parts combined together, it becomes feng shui.
Okay. I noticed around this home there's a lot of white walls.
Yes.
And there's natural lighting at certain parts, at the windows.
Certain walls in certain positions or rooms, you might need certain colors. But mainly, we don't use bright colors, especially red.
It's too hot. It feels too hot.
You're gonna get crazy. Yeah. Because too red is bad for the eye anyways. It's feng shui, just treat it as ancient practice plus ergonomics. Having too bright of colors, orange, red, or even paint your home room in black, that's too extreme, I would say.
It's too intense.
Feng shui, you need to find a good balance. So out of balance means bad feng shui. It's just that simple.
Okay.
So let's say this position right here, okay, it needs the metal element. Placing something like this would be correct.
Okay.
But if, let's say, this place, it needs the element wood. and you put this, you see metal, it chops wood, right? So that would be the wrong object. So that's how we calculate it. Window is transparent. So in feng shui master's eyes, windows means, you know, the qi just go right through. And sometimes we don't want all the qi to go through all the time. So sometimes you want to block it inside the house. So it becomes more auspicious. Okay? You need to trap some type of qi inside the house. In Chinese, it's called 聚氣. Okay? You want it to be, you want to stay there longer. Actually, I implement all these calculations into an app. So now it saves me a ton of time, so I don't have to calculate everything on paper.
Is it an app that is easily accessible to normal people?
Yes, I want to make feng shui more accessible, okay, for the general public.
And rightfully so. Feng Shui has received a great deal of attention and adoration from people of all walks of life. And the social habits of this generation, he seeks to inspire and appeal to a larger audience by sharing this traditional art through the fusion of new technology. It's not hard to see Master Chan's passion. Now let's see what else he has to share.
How is the feng shui industry in Hong Kong now?
The whole industry in HongOng is quite mature, I would say, the feng shui industry. And you would see a lot of younger masters, like nowadays, whereas in my dad's era, I would say era, every famous masters, they would be around like 50s or 60s.
Talking about a lot of young masters coming out these days, is the clientele getting younger as well?
Yeah, that's also true, because young people, they want everything like right now.
Yes.
Right? They want to see results fast, okay? So they want to have a good job, and they want to make more money, and they want to have like a better relationship. So they would do whatever. They would do whatever it takes to have like a better life, right? So feng shui would be part of that. They believe feng shui can help them achieve things faster. So that actually attracts young people.
And can you show me some examples of what you were talking about of the use of qi in this home?
Sure. In feng shui, the door is considered like the most important, okay? The most important, because this lets in all the qi, okay? Because the qi from outside flows inwards, okay, into the house. Okay, once you open the door, right, what do you face?
I see the windows.
Okay. Windows are transparent, so the qi goes right through.
Oh, this is what you were saying earlier.
Yeah. So how do we mitigate it? We can put a partition or a screen right here.
Right.
So when you try to walk in, right, you first face the screen right here. So what do? You're gonna turn this way, right?
And then walk.
So this is how we bend the qi. Okay, let me give you another example. It's gonna be about the aura, how we use our app and my calculations to calculate where the romance star is. Okay.
Oh, I want to know about this one.
Okay, it's gonna be right here. Yeah. According to my calculations and the app that I developed, the romance star is here this year. So every year is kind of different, but this year is going to be in this spot right here. So we put something.
That's pretty. I like the color as well.
Yeah, we put something that tells a story. Okay. So what kind of story do you see here?
I see two birds. They look like they're talking to each other. There's some sort of communication.
Exactly. Well, it's like they're like lovebirds. Okay? So that's why you see two birds, because if you want relationship, obviously you're not gonna put one bird like a single bird, right? So it has to be two. When you find out the right position, when you put the right object, something that tells the right story, that becomes good feng shui.
And I also see that there's flowers here as well.
Yeah, that complements the whole story.
Ah, okay. So what would be a bad example?
It's just right next to you.
This one, the
Yes.
vase. It's quite pretty like this.
Yeah, but in feng shui, it's actually bad feng shui. You cannot put empty vases at home because that attracts bad romance.
Oh, because there's nothing inside?
Yeah, empty vase attracts bad people, especially if a girl, they put an empty vase, you're gonna attract someone who's gonna treat you badly.
Oh, we don't want that at all.
Yeah, you're not gonna want bad romance, okay?
So we have to put some water and some flowers inside.
So you cannot just put water, you have to put flower.
Oh.
I would say the first choice would be real flowers, and then the second choice would be preserved flower. They're actually real flowers, but preserved.
Right.
And then you can consider fake flowers.
Okay, so the more flowers we put here, the more romance and friends and likability we're going to have.
Not necessary, the more the merrier, okay? No. So let's say this spot right here, I would say just one would be suffice.
Okay.
Something seemingly so simple in theory has so many complexities within it. As this craft evolves, clearly the best has yet to come.
After talking to Master Chan, I had a really cool feeling. You know, when you enter a home, you feel either at ease or it feels uncomfortable. It's like a gut feeling. But of course, if you really want to know more about feng shui, you have to seek a sifu's advice. Most importantly, I really like how a Chinese tradition went from something really old-fashioned and adapted it to modern society. Then, now it's accessible to a global audience. How amazing is that?
In the heart of Hong Kong's financial district, Des takes a closer look at the true value of a guest experience.
I think it's fair to say that things have been challenging for the hospitality industry in recent years around the globe. Yet you still see hotels doing major renovations. And I'm not just talking about moving the furniture around or replacing a mattress. We're talking about major overhauls. Well, you see, these hotel operators understand that for a hotel, a major renovation means reinventing yourself and also staying relevant and competitive. And also, a renovation is so much more than just a facelift. It's also about staying true to the spirit of hospitality and the customer experience. Let me show you. Peter, it's so nice to see you again.
Yeah, it's fantastic seeing you too.
Tell me about your design ethos and philosophy.
Okay. You know, over the last probably 5 to 10 years, it has actually changed. I think, firstly, people are very aware of design. They love design, you know, and there's so much available on the internet that they can see.
Yep.
So I think, you know, we've taken the approach of design that is, you know, centered more on the end user. So in the last maybe 5 to 10 years, we have sort of been moving in the direction of what we call holistic design. Holistic meaning that, you know, we do architecture now, we do interior design, we do landscape, we do lighting. All these, I see them as tools to deliver an end user experience. Because I think what's really important is to understand that people make decisions emotionally, maybe much more than they would like to admit, especially guys, right? Guys never think they're emotional, but they actually are, right? You know, why the hell would you buy a Ferrari or something like that? It's the most impractical thing to do, but it's emotion, right? So I think, you know, you make emotional decisions, and I think design needs to be emotive. The whole idea is to create this sort of these moments in a person's life, you know, the emotions, so you feel something. It's not just what it looks like. This whole idea of luxury, I think, has changed. You know, it's not about what you own, but it's really about what you experience. I've always loved design. You know, I'm a compulsive designer. I don't think I can stop. You know, so if you ask me if I rethink what I want to do with my life, you know, I would probably be doing the same thing. I got into hospitality because I felt that hospitality was something that was really interesting. You know, it contained all the different facets of design, of how you shape somebody's world. And the hotel is really a very complex building. You know, it's rivaled only by a hospital. Obviously, given the choice of designing a hospital or a hotel, I'll take a hotel.
That's a good point, actually.
Yeah.
It's like a whole community in itself. It's a living village.
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah. You know, one of the things that we look at when we do each and every project is every one we look at it in a very bespoke way. It's very different. It's like, what do we deliver in that experience to the end user? And a big part of that, of course, is what we call the sense of place. How you capture the sense of place. And then I remember back in 08, 09, when we, you know, the financial crisis, it's like the whole hospitality industry was virtually shut down.
Sure.
You know, we're kind of repeating it again, but I mean, it's like, you know, it's, so I said, well, what am I going to do? And so I realized then that people that were building, you know, homes, luxury homes, kind of wanted to emulate that sort of luxury lifestyle of a hotel. And says, hey, you know, that lets me segue into the residential market, which we did, and we did it very successfully. And then I realized also that hotels also want to feel a little bit like home.
Sure.
So, when you travel a lot, and back in those days, I was traveling probably 50% of the time, know. So when we started this project, it was like, okay, we have a fantastic harbor view over here. That is undeniable.
Amazing.
It's amazing. It's spectacular. But then it's like, how do you deliver Hong Kong? And what is Hong Kong? Very often people say Hong Kong is East meets West. I think that's so shallow and so, it's kind of silly really. But to me, Hong Kong is a city of contrast. It's a city of contrast. You have old right next to new. You have what is very Western next to maybe what is very, very Chinese. You have what is, very technological against something that is maybe old and cultural. And that to me is Hong Kong.
Right.
And that's what sort of inspired me to do this hotel in this manner. But also the people. I always look towards the people, as the inspiration. So the Chinese people, the Hong Kong people, rather, are, a very modern people. They're technologically savvy, they're stylish, they're sophisticated. But deep down in their heart, there's something about them that is Chinese. There's a certain mindset, there's certain values that are Chinese.
Absolutely.
And I think this is really important to be able to sort of, weave that into your design.
So specifically, are there any elements that we see looking around that you want to point to that talk about this exact kind of international, but still having that sense of Chineseness?
Coming into this over here, when we walked through from the lift lobby there, you got this sort of sense. We wanted to create this sort of sense of a homecoming. So you felt like you're walking into the foyer of a beautiful home.
Because most hotel hallways are kind of cold and impersonal.
That's right. And very commercial looking, and you spend a lot more time there than you would like to, as you're waiting for your elevator and so on. You're standing in this very cold thing, it feels almost office-like, right? That's a complete antithesis of what we want to create here. We want to create this sort of sense of being a home. You are staying in your home in Hong Kong.
Right.
So when you come through into this over here, we want to give this sort of feeling of very, very, it's very world-class, has this sort of very sophisticated, modern kind of palette. But within that, you see elements that are like the dark polished wood. The inspiration came from beautiful Ming-style furniture, which has this sort of almost like a French polish on it, French lacquer polish on it, on the finish there. So that is like a sort of a deference to the Chinese culture. But that's contrasted against the timber that is very light, and it looks almost unfinished. That's very natural, it's organic. It's what people are looking for these days. Connection with nature makes you feel secure, makes you feel good, especially in the times we're going through right now. COVID has had a massive impact on the hospitality industry, I think in people's lives in general. And I think people now see their life, in a very different way. In pre-COVID days, it was very heady, right? It was all about how successful am I, how much money I'm making, what I do, what I own, all this sort of stuff. And now it's like when you see, hey, family members died, somebody died, so you start to rethink a little bit. I don't want to sound morbid, but but the reality is you start to think of what really is important in your life.
What matters.
What really matters, right? What really matters are family and close friends. And what is success if you're not happy? So I think it's really about delivering happiness. We set up this whole suite here to feel like you're home. This bar over here, this is no mini bar.
It is not mini at all. You can sit like 12, 14 people around this thing.
Yeah, this is the mother of all bars, right?
Yeah.
The living room over here can easily seat 8 to 10 people. Do you have that many people in your suite? Maybe not, but it feels good, right?
Sure.
And design is all about how you feel. It's how you create these emotions. And I think one of the things that drive me in the work that we do is that we are custodians in a sense of creating these moments in people's lives. And I think, one day when we look back on our life, we'll say, who are we? What do we do? You will remember your life as a dash line of moments. And there's so much that is sort of blurred in between that don't really matter, that you don't really remember. But there are certain elements in your life, you'll think back on my childhood, this or this or this or this. These are the things you remember. And in creating designs, it's like, I want what we do. Yes, we take 3 to 5 years actually curating these experiences, but they should be They should be like moments in people's lives. They create these little moments that you always remember them, you treasure them. And I think, you know, in this sort of the times we're living in now, it's like when you create these moments, and eventually these are sort of things that you want to take home with you. That when you know, when you're living back in home, wherever that may be, you know, you bring some of these things, the things that you cherish, these wonderful moments, these wonderful memories back with you into your own home.
Well put, Peter. It's these moments that make a trip and stay unforgettable. The culminating experience is what really matters.
It's always nice to talk to Peter. He's so creative and I'm always learning from him. And he's such a nice and warm guy. In that aspect, I think the spirit of the designer is embodied in the transformation of this beautiful suite. Everything about it, whether it's the textures, the colors, or the contrasts, says to the person coming in, you feel welcome here. I think a lot of the time when we're at hotels, if friends come to visit, it's very natural to call and say, I'll be downstairs in the lobby soon. But with a place like this, it'd be almost wrong not to invite them up because it'd be a shame not to share in this amazing new hospitality experience.